Hi everyone, this is Paul Daigle. I'm the County Conservationist in Marathon County, and we had quite an exciting day around here yesterday. We had storms rip through the area, dropping anywhere from 3 to 4 inches of rain, and we had an opportunity to run out into our pilot watershed project where we have some superior farming systems installed on some area farms, and we're able to grab some samples right off the fields as the runoff was coming off of them and visually see how our practices are working. We're out in the Fenwood Watershed looking to check on the water quality immediately after a 3 to 4 inch storm had passed the area, and we're checking our superior farming systems. And on this farm they're using managed perennial forages to promote soil health and feed their animals, and I'm going to take a sample of the water right now and just illustrate what you can see. All those standing water moving slowly through the field. And you can see very little sediment, a little bit of tannins, no turbidity, and we can test it for phosphorus, but I'd see likely very little phosphorus in this sample as well. We're going to go check a few more superior farming systems out as well, along with some other cropping systems. Look at a farm that's using no-till cover crops and longer perennial rotations, and he's part of our incentive program to provide incentives to superior farming systems. We're able to sample the road ditch right here, and all this runoff is coming right off of the field that we're working on this farm. And I'll take a sample of that. As you can see, we have from a visual standpoint, pretty good water quality here, very low turbidity. We'll take a sample for the phosphorus and see where we're at with that, but looks like the systems are working. So we're at another one of our cooperating farmers in the Fenwood, and this entire watershed is in soybean this year, but they used no-till. They had cover crops last year, high residual. They maintain all of the grass waterways, and as you can see, the sample from this farm is quite high quality water yet, very low turbidity. We'll find out what the phosphorus looks like, but this is really what we're shooting for, superior farming systems again. We're grabbing our last sample here, and this is coming off of a conventionally tilled cornfield in the Fenwood, and you can see quite a bit more turbidity and sediment coming out of that field. It's the storm has passed a little bit ago, so things are settling down a bit already, but we suspect this is going to have quite a bit more sediment and phosphorus in it as we sample it. All right, so we're going to take a look at some of the samples we grabbed yesterday and just kind of take a comparison look through the different samples we took. This is the first one we took off of that managed perennial forage, and this farmer had the option of rotationally grazing it. He also direct cuts and feeds right in his freeze stall for supplemental feed, and he also takes this feed for winter feed. And you can see there's really no sediment visually in there at all, but we do have some tannins that we picked up, and actually in these type of situations we want tannins, because if they're going to graze them, those tannins exist in the legumes and the herbaceous plants that are in that sward, and they help reduce bloat and parasite loads. Our second site, which really looks nice as well, this is our no-till. We're coming off that cornfield and a little bit of legume, and it was direct seeded right into that alfalfa field, and there's interseeded cover crops in there as well, but really very low turbidity in there. And then our third site was our no-till soybeans, and those were no-tilled into a cover crop from last year, and really a nice site as well. Pretty large watershed for soybeans, but again, really very little turbidity. And this is our last sample that we took where the conventionally tilled corn was, and you can see some of the sediment in there now. It's settled out, but we definitely have high sediment loads, and if we were to sample this, we'd expect to see quite a bit of phosphorus attached to that sediment as well. And so visually speaking, this is really kind of some observations of our superior farming practices that we had in place on a conventionally tilled practice, probably meeting tolerable soil loss, but really not meeting those water quality objectives that we want to achieve. But our soil health practices appear to be working from the outset. Just as a wrap up, I just hope you enjoyed what we captured yesterday and shared with you today as well as a wrap up. And it's nice to see that these practices, at least visually, appear to be functioning out in the watershed. And we hope to get a lot more of this installed in the Fenwood Creek. Thanks.